Hey, Vince, you know what's a really neat card that I've seen recently?
Brian, there's no time. Ravnica Allegiance spoilers are up. They're coming up thick and fast. This has to be out before Monday.
Oh my god! It's been 2 weeks already? Spoilers! Hello and welcome to Dice to Removal. I'm the Professor, this is Pleasant Kenobi, and we are going to talk about Ravnica Allegiance spoilers and previews. So far, we are not even with the complete spoiler yet, and we have so much to talk about, and I just want to get right to it. You know who we are at this point. You're not finding this channel randomly or this podcast randomly. If you're watching us on YouTube, I've got links for you to listen to us on your preferred podcast software. If you're listening to us on podcast, watch us on YouTube and see our faces. I don't care. Let's talk about these spoilers. Actually, my first question for you, Vince, before we even do spoilers, I'm doing the whole joke. I screamed during the intro. It's been 2 weeks already. Are we in perpetual hype in Magic the Gathering where it's just every 2 weeks? Because then after
100%.
Because as soon as they do the visual spoiler for this, a week later, it's going to be the new guild decks for the remaining 5 guilds and which cards are in there and which reprints are in there. And then it's going to be the next thing and the next thing and the next thing and the next thing and the next product. And then whatever they're replacing master sets with. Are we in perpetual hype? Is this a bad thing or is this cool?
I find it tiring, especially you must find it as a content creator as well. It's even worse because I've only just gone full time myself, but like having spoilers come out like every single day when you're trying to manage other stuff, and just like you can't be hyped all the time.
Right.
So sometimes you've got to, like when they start revealing those guild things, I'll just what are the reprints, and then I'll just sort of try and switch off so I get some downtime between this and what is next? Like Commander, Eternal?
Well,
no, some sort of Masters product.
There's going to be the rumor is there's going to be a surprise kind of replacement to Masters sets, and so they're going to say, we got something new for you. It's not new. It's what they're replacing master sets with. And so it's still the equivalent of there's a master set every 6 months now. It's whatever.
What if it's just a master set, all but in name?
It's, you know what it is? It's going to be modern decks like Commander Precons, but they're with made for modern exclusive cards. That's the rumor. I don't know if it's reliable, but that they're going to be selling. So it's going to be, here it is. It's modern Death and Taxes, but instead of reprinting a lot of stuff, it's going to have a few reprints, and then it's going to have made for modern. Oh,
so we might see Wasteland will come straight into modern and avoid standard. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, although it'll be unique. It'll be a brand new. You know how Commander Precons have the original cards that are just made for Commander? It'll have original, not Wasteland. It'll have Urza's Wasteland, and it's a slightly worse Wasteland, and it's modern legal, but it doesn't go through standard. And they're going to have these, and I don't know if they're decks, I don't know if they're booster packs, I don't know what they're doing, but that's what they're replacing. That's the rumor. That's the rumor.
I've gone from podcast co-host back to like just watching one of your videos, Brian, because I'm just excited now. I'm like, oh, please, Professor, tell me more. I want to see these modern exclusive cards.
I'm just talking about Grapevine. I'm just talking about what's on the Grapevine.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not sure how that sits with me, to be fair, but that's not the topic of today's episode anyway.
No, it's not.
So
let's just jump into it. I want you to tell me, Vince, what is one of the cards that has been previewed so far that you are most hyped for?
So when we first said we were doing a spoiler episode a couple of days ago, and our first idea was like, what 3 cards would we like to get reprinted in the set, which we might talk about a bit later.
Okay.
But one of the ones I was going to joke about was a Birthing Pod or Birthing Pod equivalent, because I like to see those cards come back. Like Magus of the Birthing Pod, perhaps. Kind of like how Kiki is Magus of the Splitter Twin.
Right.
And then I wrote Birthing Pod down on my notes, and then I woke up this morning, I think it was this morning, and Prime Speaker Vannifar, or is it Vannifar? Vannifar had been revealed. And I got out from the cinema last night from seeing Aquaman. Vannifar's been revealed, and I was like, oh my god, it's Birthing Pod on a creature. So I think, hands down, nothing comes even remotely close to that card for my level of excitement. For Commander, for Cube, for Modern, perhaps even Legacy, because it pitches to Forcible and you can Green Suns for it. Yeah, I'm all over that hype.
Wow, you are a sucker. You're going to fall for this? You're going to fall?
Yes, I am.
This is not Birthing Pod on a creature. Birthing Pod you can activate immediately.
Exactly.
And
so that's the biggest downside. The upside, like I said, is you can tutor it off of Green Sun Zenith. You can pitch it to Force of Will.
Sure.
It's a 2/4. It doesn't even die to Lightning Bolt. It can carry a sword. You can sack it to Cabal Therapy. It's got loads of upside. There's loads of upside that Birthing Pod doesn't
Legacy,
have.
you really think this is going to make it all the way to Legacy? Wow.
Yes, I'm going to play it alongside Piran Toothy in like a Nick Fit build, and it's going to be glorious. I might only go like at best like 2-3, but I don't care. I'm going to be podding things with my Green Sunnable pod thing. I can't wait. I'm so excited. Also, it's an elf ooze wizard.
I love what they're doing with this. Like just from a flavor standpoint, like in today we just got Lizard Wizard got spoiled, and so
we got our elf crab warrior, we got a jellyfish hydra beast.
I love that they're doing that. I love that they're doing that and having fun with the cards. But as far as the Prime Speaker is concerned, I think that this is something they have put these Birthing Pod-like effects, watered down versions of it, also versions of like Survival of the Fittest and other similar go kill a creature, get a better creature effects on other cards before, and just nothing compares to Birthing Pod.
So are you comparing it to like Evolutionary Leap, Fauna Shaman, and Yisan the Wanderer Bard?
I think that they're in that wheelhouse. Fauna Shaman sees some play. Yisan is awesome in Commander, and I mean Commander's great.
So they keep pushing closer and closer to it. So I think this might be the card where, I mean, even if it's not good in Legacy, I'm not saying it's going to be good in Legacy. I'm going to try it in Legacy, but even if it's not, this is a great Commander card as well. And I would play it in Standard. Only about half an hour ago, we saw an enchantment that gives creatures Riot in the Gruul's guild, just as we get prepared to start filming. So there you go, give her a Riot, she comes in, she's got haste. Off we go, Brian. Off we go in Standard.
I hate to say this. I hate to say this, and I'm not saying this to be sarcastic. I'm not saying this to be cheeky. But honest to God, if this does actually compare to Birthing Pod in terms of even just a bit of what it enables. No, but dude, it dies to removal. I'm sorry, but then it's just it legit does because Birthing Pod. The thing is that you need very specific removal to get rid of it, and I'm just going to Doomblade this thing. You said yourself, well, Lightning Bolt won't hit it. I'm not saying it's as good. It's not as good as Birthing Pod. There's no way it is. It's the reason that Birthing Pod's banned in Modern. It's got Phyrexian mana in it. Don't forget we're skipping over that bit as well. What keeps me from just doing? Okay, what keeps me from fatal pushing this? I mean, like it's just
sure
fatal.
So I don't think it's going to impact anything like Birthing Pod.
Fatal Push took down Tarmogoyf. If you think it can't take down Prime Speaker Vannifar.
I think but Goif's the 2-drop. Goif always dies to Fatal Push. This only dies to Fatal Push like 30 to 50% of the time.
No, but
I don't think it's going to be as good as Pod, buddy.
Okay, all right.
It's not as good as Pod. Okay. I'm not saying that.
All right, just as long as you're
exciting.
Okay.
Yeah, whenever you see an old school effect like this, or of a card you already know is powerful on a new card, that's hype. That's hype for me.
Okay, you want to know?
Maybe they've got me. They've got me by the hype. Short and girlies.
Is this going to get you playing Standard more though? You're going to do like Birthing Pod Standard.
Arena's done it. Arena's already done it. It's suckered me in. I'm already playing more. I've been playing Standard all week.
Yeah.
But that's for next episode, I guess.
All right, I'm looking.
What are you excited about then? If you're not excited about Vannifar, what are you? Vannifar,
whatever name. I'll tell you. My card that I'm excited about. I know how to say its name, and the card that I'm excited about is Teysa Karlov. I'm a big Teysa fan, as people who follow me on like Twitter and stuff know. My Teysa Commander deck was one of my first and still my favorites, and it's the one that I blinged out. I absolutely love Teysa. I hated Teysa's card in Dragon Maze. Teysa, Envoy of Ghosts, I despise.
Was she 8 mana or 7?
She might as well be 18 mana at that point, and she doesn't do very much. But Teysa Karlov, that is coming to us in Ravnica Allegiance, she's a 2/4 for 2 of any color, 1 white and black, so that's nice and low. It's 1 more than the original, because the original's only 3 CMC, but that's still pretty good. If a creature dying causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, that ability triggers an additional time. But that's not all. Creature tokens you control have vigilance, and that's not all, and lifelink. I mean, this is off the hook.
It's very good, but I think it's a little bit lazy, because it basically says, just play your Afterlife cards that are in the set,
right,
and they'll be better. And that's just like, oh, okay. It's so simplistic. Like, the great thing about My Pet Birthing Pod on a Body is that it's very different to the rest of the Simic stuff, but it still reeks of the flavour. Teysa is just very, very good, and she makes the guild mechanic even better. And that's like, that's not even difficult deck building. That's just like, things die, and this makes them better. I'll better put those in a deck together. It feels maybe not lazy, maybe too simple. But she's great.
Did you have the same reaction when you saw Dimir and you're like, oh, this is lazy, this surveils, and this does things when things surveil. Just put them in a deck together. I mean,
no. I thought Lazav was really smart the way he played with surveil by transferring into other creatures and stuff. I thought that was cool actually because I didn't think that was
cool. Yeah, well, I'm actually more excited with the new Teysa because I actually might just go on out and do a build around me commander deck with her. I think that this is a different effect and a different type of combo than the original Teysa. Original Teysa, what you do is you play Darkest Hour, you make all creatures black, and so the white tokens that she puts into play are black, and then you have something that sacrifices them and you get infinite tokens, and you can Blasting Station or Skull Clamp or all kinds of shenanigans. But with this, I feel like we might be able to have a little bit more fun in terms of the ways in which we're going to combo off with this Panharmonicon effect.
So is she better? Is she better than the original Teysa? Yes or no?
It depends on your definition of better. I think the original Teysa, I mean, I can turn 3 to 4 combo off with original Teysa in Commander if I play my cards right, or if they play themselves right. I don't know that that's going to be the case here, but that might actually make her better in that I don't get to play my original Teysa because she's too powerful that much, and so I have to be playing with the right people who have, like, not quite competitive EDH decks, but almost, because that's kind of her level, so I have to have a matched power level. I think that this might be more fun, which makes it better in Commander. So I think she's a little less powerful in Commander, but she is a little bit more fun in that I might build around her with those Panharmonicon effects. And then there's other cards that do, in addition to Panharmonicon, a similar thing. And so you put them in for redundancy purposes, and then you can have some fun. I'm definitely excited. I'm glad she doesn't suck eggs like Dragon's Maze did.
As far as I'm saying, it's like too simple in terms of like deck design and stuff. I do think it's quite cool that in terms of design space, she's unique because we haven't had anything that makes death triggers trigger twice before.
Right.
I don't think, other than making triggered abilities trigger twice. So yeah, I'm all for that. That's new space. That's new space for commander decks to be built around and things. I also think it's cool that she's going to play really well with Judith. Hey Jude, the Scourge Diva. That card is absurd as well. That card is so good. Either Aristocrats, because we've got our sack outlet today.
We're going to see Aristocrats in Modern, finally. Is this every time I do a preview video, not a preview video, a top 5 what I think is going to make an impact in Modern, I'm always looking for the Aristocrats cards, and I'm always saying, are we going to finally get like tier 1 Aristocrats out of this Aristocrat Enabler? And it's never happens, and I'm going to ask it again. Are we, because I know you're a Modern guy, you can answer this,
Yeah,
I don't
think she's pushed enough.
Is she pushed, is she not? We're not going to get Aristocrats in Modern.
Because she doesn't play well with things like Lingering Souls, which are probably some of the best cards to play in those decks.
Right.
Well, that's a lie. She has 2 lines of text. The first line of text gives all your creatures +1/+0, which is really good with the flying creatures and the random spirits you're going to make in Standard. And the second part is non-token, which is still really, really good. And I still think she's going to be really good either in an Aristocrat style deck or even just an aggro deck, just slamming your guys into their face so it can ping them and stuff like that. Even curving her into Teysa, then swinging out with your whole team and just getting them blocked, and things start getting shot all over the shop, and it's just a massacre, which is great and flavourful considering that's the Rakdos leader. But I don't know if she's pushed quite enough for Modern. But again, it's the kind of card that I'll happily try and play in a deck as well. So
I mean, her and Teysa, she plays very nicely with new Teysa, and so. Yeah,
the problem with Teysa is she's 4 mana. Yeah. She's 4 mana, and there's Seraph of the Scales at 4 mana. Wasn't there another one that had like a large afterlife number? Oh no, the Oligarch's only 2 mana. It's only 2 mana. So yeah, you've got Seraph of the Scales or Teysa. Like, which one do you think is going to be the better card? Because Seraph of the Scales is pretty pushed. Yeah,
and so that's the question: is are you going to be wanting in a constructed deck to put in Seraph instead? And, here we go. Remember the days of Sarah Angel? Long gone. Seraph can gain Vigilance until end of turn for just 1 white. Seraph gains Death Touch until end of turn. I'm surprised they didn't just do Lifelink for white and Death Touch for black at this point. And Afterlife 2 Oh my God,
Exactly.
4-3.
So the thing is, with Teysa, we're talking about how Teysa and Judith play well together, but like the moment that Teysa gets shot down by, I don't know, what's in stand at the moment? Lava Coil definitely exiles them.
Right.
But Teysa will just die to removal, where the Seraph leaves behind bodies. It pings them off of Judith, and the bodies fly. Do the bodies fly? They don't fly.
No.
Oh, they do fly. They do fly.
Yeah, they don't have lifelink. They're just 1/1
so you've
white
got
and black.
1/1 white spirits that are now 2/1s because of Judith. So I think cards like Teysa, for example, and there's going to be a few of them in this set probably, won't see as much play because other mythics or rares push them out in standard at least.
Yes.
Obviously, Teysa's better for commander, I guess. So.
Yeah. What do you like next?
Okay, should we talk about walkers for a second?
Oh God. Okay, so are we doing good?
Right, so how do you feel?
Are we doing the good walker
them?
or the bad walker that we've seen?
So you think there's two good walkers? Because I'm not sure if I'm convinced on that one either.
Really. So I'm gonna start with the bad one. We're gonna take down the hype for a second. Kaya, she stinks out loud. Come on.
So I love cards that have really weird utility. Like, I play Death and Taxes in Legacy, where I'll play 2/1 bears that stop players from drawing more than one card a turn. It's weird utility stuff. The problem with a 3-mana Planeswalker is that A, she's not a creature, so she doesn't get corded or podded or violed or any of that nonsense. And then she just does things that are so narrow. I'm almost laughing thinking about it.
Yeah.
It exiles some stuff from my graveyard, gains you some life.
That right away doesn't help, because if I drop her on turn 3, she can't protect herself. And so
you have to curve into her with creatures in the best case scenario. So, and then weirdly, I think she might be playable in like Vintage almost, because her down tick kills Moxes and kills like low costing efficient things like Delvers, for example. But I mean, that's as much as I can think of. She just doesn't do anything.
Disappointed.
She doesn't do anything.
The fact that it's exile target non-land permanent with converted mana cost 1 or less. So I get what they're trying to do. What they want is that she's like, I think this is one of the cases where the flavor overruled the mechanic, because
she's a Ghostbuster?
Yeah, she's a Ghostbuster. She gets rid of tokens and small creatures. And so it's like they want it to be that she gets rid of...
Imagine if it was 2 or lower.
Yeah, I'd be fine with that. I'd be very happy with that. But like, she'll get rid of any tokens. So somebody puts in a 6/6, a worm token, she can get rid of that. That's cool. But is that really something that we're coming up against?
That's a flavor fail then, right? Why would a Ghostbuster kill a 6/6 worm? That doesn't even make any sense.
It was a ghost worm. It was a ghost worm, right.
The thing that bugs me is that the original version of her from Conspiracy, or Conspiracy 2, wherever she's from, it flickered creatures.
It was great,
flickering creatures is like my all-time favourite thing to do. I like flickering Eternal Witnesses and Restoration Angels and Flicker Wisps and all that nonsense. And she doesn't flicker anything. She doesn't flicker herself.
Nope.
And she doesn't flicker creatures.
And her ultimate is even, like, usually Planeswalker ultimates, they just go bonkers because you're seldom going to ultimate them. So for her ultimate, she'll deal damage to target player equal to the number of cards that player owns in exile. If you've been exiling tokens with her, they don't own any in exile. So that doesn't. So let's say I'm like, I'm gonna exile your token, exile your token, exile token, exile your land or elves. Then they own one card in exile.
So she ultimates quite quickly, and that ultimate can kill someone who's cast Treasure Cruise or Dig Through Time. Guess where they're legal? Vintage. I generally think she could be a weird sideboard vintage card for some sort of mid-range or control deck. But aside from that, she doesn't do almost anything anywhere else. I could be wrong, but.
Dovin is also CMC3. I mean, I always get very jumpy at CMC3 Planeswalkers because those can go off the rails. It sounded like you were not impressed with Dovin either.
I think it's really cool that instead of having a lot of 4 and 5 mana Planeswalkers that draw a card, kill something, and then ultimate and win, like we've seen with every Walker under the sun for the last couple of sets, it's cool that they're doing a different design space, like a Tempo Walker, I guess some people are calling him. That said, we saw that with Cunning Castaway, and he was pretty dull.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I guess in current standard, they couldn't really push another Blue-White Walker very far because we're so scared of Teferi as well. So there might have been some last-minute changes to make this guy weaker after they realised how good Teferi was. It's cool that he's different design space. It's cool that he uses a different archetype to enable himself and some sort of tempo strategy of the creatures. But yeah, I just look at him and I'm like, even when he ults, he does a slightly better dig through time. Well, I say slightly, a very, very much better dig through time. But again, that doesn't win the game when you're ulting your walkers. But I guess you can ult the next turn. You can ult him the next turn if you have it set up right, or you can ult him really like that. +1 is so interesting, and in the right deck, especially if so. Imagine maybe not Illustrious, but let's say
Bant Thopters, or Esper Thopter list, because we've got all these Thopters now. They're flying. They've got the evasion. They're going to hit through. You +1 them, and then maybe the very next turn, you might even get them up to, what if you get them up to 8 loyalty and he sticks around and you -7 him and get that effect?
He just doesn't seem very good on curve is the problem.
Right.
So the thing I find with 3-mana walkers is either they've got to be good on curve, or they've got to be a low-costed threat that you can play and protect later on. And maybe a Bant tokens list, for example, playing like March the Multitudes, make a load of bodies, you untap, cast Dovin, tick up, swing for loads. But ultimately, why would you play that over, I don't know, the History of Benalia or other 3-drop cards that further your game plan? It's a card advantage engine.
History of Benalia is hard to turn down there. Yeah,
exactly. Again, it's kind of like the Teysa thing. Teysa's all good, well and good and plays well with Judith, but Seraph's probably better. So Dovin in the token strategy, History's probably better.
Right.
So that's what I just don't think he does all the things he does good enough. If he made 2 Thopters on a down tick, then it might be a different story.
Yeah, I would rather. I was actually, when I first saw him, I thought, gee, because I'm not someone who I've had fun in the past playing with Soul Sisters in Modern, but despite that, I'm not a big life gain guy. And so I actually thought, gee, I wish he made 2 Thopters and I didn't gain the life. I'd rather just get 2 flying Thopters and not gain any life instead of 1 Thopter and gain the life,
The gain of life almost feels like it slapped on the ability slightly more power. This is a bit underpowered. I'll put some life gain on it. That'll make somebody happy somewhere.
Yeah.
But I guess on the upside, from a design perspective, more of a Vorthos thing, he does seem like a cool sort of spy master.
Oh, yeah,
Thopters that he's sending out.
Absolutely.
And the more Thopters you've got, the more powerful his network is, and the more influence he has.
Yep.
And
I wish it was Thopter. I wish that he had Thopter tribal synergy, where what it was create a 1/1 flying Thopter, and then instead of gain 2 life, gain 1 life for each Thopter you control.
Yeah,
that'd be rad. Cool. Or this is busted. This is busted. Create a 1/1 flying Thopter, draw a card for each Thopter you have, because that's the Spy Master.
No, that's insane. That's insane. Or until end of turn when they deal damage, maybe draw a card. Or I was thinking, why don't they...
All Thopters gain. All Thopters you control gain.
That's too good as well.
Yeah,
that's way too good. But the other design space that they're going to get to, because Maro said in his blog recently that eventually and very soon, Planeswalkers will probably start having more static abilities, kind of like that can be your commander stuff.
Kill me now.
It'd be cool
Kill me now.
But because Planeswalkers are pushed and Planeswalkers take over games, etc. But what if Dovin ETB'd, entered the battlefield, and made a 1/1 Thopter?
No.
Why not? That would make him...
Screw that. Because Planeswalkers are already horrible for the game. They're already non-interactive, terrible. I hate Planeswalker cards, and I don't want to do more better things with them.
That sounds like a future episode of Dice to Removal.
Away. I want them to just keep getting worse and worse.
They aren't going anywhere, Brian. Let's just let the power creep go wild. Let's put Sphinx's Red back in Standard. Let's have Wasteland and Days in Standard. Come on, let's have powerful formats where cards do powerful things.
All right, you can
flip coins, Brian. What about that? Flipping coins. Is that powerful enough for you? Rakdos the Showstopper. Is that where we're going next?
I don't have anything to say on Rakdos, the Showstopper. I don't think that this is one of those cards that's just too goofy and too silly to actually, have an impact anywhere. I think maybe some people will like it for their coin flip commander deck, but that's it.
There's a theory that I quite like.
Okay,
that this card exists to make Arena look splashier and fancier in clips and VODs.
Yeah,
he's called the Showstopper. His flavor text is entertain me.
Oh, I love it.
His intro line on Arena is going to be hilarious as well. And then he enters the battlefield and coins start flipping all over the shop for imagine 40 tokens in play from multiple markets and just flipping coins. It's going to look glorious on Arena, and that's probably why he exists.
Yeah, but are we going to play him outside of Limited? Are you going to put him in any what standard deck does he go in?
If his animation is good enough, Brian, I'll play him in a video. But other than that, no. He's a 6-mana 6/6 Flampeler, but we've already got a 5-mana 6/6 Flampeler in the other demon.
Yeah,
that was the Seville demon. So
I like the idea of coin flip commander. People have already been doing coin flip commander decks where almost it's just pack in every coin flip card.
But we've just got the best coin flip commander of all time, haven't we? With Zundersplut and the Homunculus and the Ogre from Battle Bond.
Battle Bond. Oh God, that's like 18 spoiler seasons ago or 5 months. I don't remember
They both
it at
flip
all.
coins. They're partnered. When they flip coins, you draw cards and double his power. It's amazing. It's in blue red.
Yes.
Those.
Right. So we can.
So
definitely
why would you want to play
some...
Rakdos over that nonsense? That's the good coin flip.
Yes,
that's
a
kind of
good
deck
point.
that's fun.
So there
This
you
is
go.
kind of-
Rakdos, entertain me. My response is, Rakdos, you need to entertain me, or you're just ending up in my binder, which I'm afraid you are.
Do you think he should have been rare instead of a? Why is he a mythic?
He's a mythic because he's a legendary guild leader, and that's just required that he's mythic. I don't think he should have been a rare because then I would get more of him, and I want less of him. I don't.
I guess
want,
unlimited
I
as
like,
well.
I don't like
kind
Rakdos.
of annoying.
He's fun. The flavor text is fun. The art is, of course, amazing. It's a card that makes me smile. But then ultimately, this is going to be, I guarantee you, this is going to be the 45-cent mythic that you crack open, and it's just what a disappointment. Or you're opening a booster box.
Bad.
You spent all that money on a booster box, and then lo and behold, you get a mythic foil, which is just. And that's so much money, and then it's Rakdos, and it's like you look it up, and it's like, oh yeah, the foil Rakdos mythics are going for $2 because he doesn't have a home anywhere, and I'm not impressed.
So I have very fond memories of original Return to Ravnica. I say original, it's not the original.
Oh my God. You
Of
make
the
me
original
feel
Return
so
block.
old, you child. I remember the original Return to Ravnica.
I played during original Ravnica, but I have fonder memories of Return to Ravnica. That's what I was going with that.
Do you refer to Ocarina of Time as the first Zelda game because it was the first
of course
one on the
not.
on
It is the first one that I played and my favorite one, I think. Yeah,
right. Yeah, I remember the first Zelda, Ocarina of Time. Oh.
No, I'm not. Brian, I'm only 21. Anyway, my point was, there are cards from RTR that I absolutely loved during Standard, some of which we're going to talk to you about in just a moment in terms of like reprints and things. But one card I liked quite a lot, Brian, was Detention Sphere. Detention Sphere was great at clearing up little pesky spirit tokens. And Wizards have seen fit to stick it on a not a human, a Vidalcan body this time round.
Right.
So we've got Detention Wizard, as I'm calling him.
Yes.
Who is basically a violable, cordable 3-drop creature that gets rid of all your spirits and does quite cool stuff. And I'm so glad he's not a human. I cannot be more glad
that he's not a human. Right.
God, can you imagine
him and Reflector Mage would get along like a house on fire.
I know, it'd be disgusting.
Boy.
But I'm hyped for this. This plus Lavinia, which we've obviously lots of people talked about already because that's quite an old spoiler at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Those two together show that like Azorius has got like hate bear creatures this time round more so than it normally does. So I'm hyped to try and play some blue-white taxes in Modern and Legacy again with some new bears. So yeah, Deputy of Detention I think is the real deal for just being a solid like Fiend Hunter plus sort of card.
Is this one that you think is going to? It sounds like you think this is going past Standard into Modern.
I think it's going to be very good in Standard. I think it's going to see play in Modern. I don't think it's going to break anything or warp anything.
No, it's just going to make things that are already working well work better.
Yeah, there'll be weird case of Cord, Company, and like Vile decks that I want to play this now and again. Especially, I mean, if someone goes 3 Hollow Ones on turn 2 and you untap and play Deputy of Detention, you get to get all 3 Hollow Ones. So
right,
yeah, I'm about that life. I like any, like I said earlier, bears that do weird stuff. Or in this case, 1/3s, but whatever.
Yes, and also in Modern, we have been seeing a bit of a rise in just blue-white control. Has been making a comeback, I think, and is getting stronger. And I think this will be one that, at the very least, they like for the sideboard, if not the main board, if not a copy main board.
Potentially, I mean, it plays awkwardly with Terminus because if you get all the Dredge's creatures and then you Terminus it away. So, but I just think it's a solid card. Like I like. It feels like RTR again, with just solid cards that, you know, they might even sleep for a little while. They might not be the right deck for it for a while, like kind of like how Spirits and Humans came out of almost nowhere, right? Like they didn't exist for the longest time, and then so maybe Vidalcans, calling it now, 2 years time, Brian. Vidalcans will be the next
modern.
Yeah, it'll be the hot new Modern deck.
it's surprising we haven't gotten Vidalcan Tribal yet, you know. But
yeah, it's true.
So in terms of non-legendary, non-planeswalker cards, one I want to mention that I'm pretty excited about is Smothering Tithe. This is a 3-mana of any color, 1 white enchantment, and it reminds me of a blue card called Heuristic Study, where for Smothering Tithe, whenever an opponent draws a card, that player may pay 2. If the player doesn't, you create a colorless treasure artifact token with tap, sacrifice this artifact, add 1 mana of any color. This is really weird for white, isn't it? This is giving white...
Yeah.
I mean, this is giving white ramp. This is giving white... it's not necessarily... It's not card draw, but it is creating artifacts that can have other synergies just by itself, creating the treasure tokens.
It's hugely unique. I
mean,
mean,
there treasure tokens created in white, like mono white in Ixalan? I don't think so. You were not getting any. Was there?
No, maybe, I can't remember about that.
Yeah.
I imagine there's got to be something, but maybe I'm thinking of all the daggers and the treasure maps and
but
stuff.
This is I really it's reminiscent of Rhystic Study. People aren't going to want to spend 2, and if they do, then you're really messing them up in most games. I like this card a lot. It's one of those ones that there's no reason not to just grab a foil version immediately and stick it in your white commander decks.
Yeah. Sitting on foils as well as a commander card.
Yeah. 3 to 4 opponents, and just everyone is going to give you a treasure token in white for mono white commander decks. Oh my god, to get that mana ramp.
Yeah, I think mono white and Boros are in the market for this. This card
Boros is going to
so
love
unique.
it too. What about?
Do you know that it's? Well, that card's got a bit of a combo in standard because there's just like announced Rampage of the Clans, the 4 mana instant that destroys enchantments and artifacts to give you 3/3s. So if you played this card and then just like played a control game, perhaps this is some sort of Bant control, perhaps with Growth Spiral and such, and then eventually once you've got like 5, 6, 7, 8 treasures in play, you cast Rampage of the Clans in their end step, make a load of 3/3s, untap and kill them. So maybe we've got like a. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how good or playable that is, but that seems like at least a against the odds style like deck to give a shot. So yeah, I think Smothering Tithe is very, very good for Commander and potentially playable in Standard if it synergizes well enough with things like Rampage of the Clans and stuff like that.
And Growth Spiral is another one. I mean, I'm a fan of Growth Spiral. This does
definitely
a great effect. Yeah.
So I was waiting for them to print something that had flash that mattered. So we've got like March of the Multitudes. I was thinking, there might be a Rampy control deck, sure. Like I keep saying about Bant control, I could be completely off left field with that. But then they just revealed like Frilled Mystic about 3 hours ago,
and
which is
let me just say, I'm thrilled with this. I am just thrilled to see this card. It is. There's only one problem with it. Do you know what the one problem with it is? Can you guess?
It's
not a snake. It's not a snake. It needs.
I thought it was going to be another pun. I thought it was going to be another bad Frilled pun.
Now I'm being dead serious. I hope someone got fired over this. No, not really. But this should be a.
You think it'd be a good callback to Mystic Snake? Yeah,
it's Mystic Snake. This is a better Mystic Snake, essentially. Right.
Well, Mystic Snake doesn't cost double green, double blue.
Right.
But apart from that, yeah. And this is a May, so that's better. So this has more power. It's a May, so it is better in many ways. But I guess it's slightly... The colour intensity doesn't really matter. But
it should be a human snake wizard. Human snake wizard, I think.
Human?
Elf
you want
snake,
another...
Elf
I think
snake
human
wizard.
should be
human
off
elf,
the menu
human,
for sets.
Human, elf, merfolk, snake, wizard. That's what it should be.
So you're not even happy with the elf lizard wizard? You can't be happy with...
I gotta admit, it's so fun to say elf, lizard, wizard. It's so fun to say.
I know,
but
really
I
is.
want it to be a snake so I can put it in my Cassetto Snake Commander and get that synergy. And also, it would be a nice callback to Mystic Snake.
Yeah,
because
I
then
love
it would also
allusions
feel
back to
like
old
they took. It would feel like they took the Mystic Snake and they evolved it into an elf.
Yeah,
they
and
spliced
yeah,
it.
and as it's borderline strictly better, that would make sense that they have evolved it as well. But that card is a flash threat plus Growth Spiral.
Love it.
Plus, I mean, we've got the new Jason Ingenuity as well. There's that 5 mana draw 3 instant speed that has the extra scry stuff during main phases. Precognitive perception.
Yes.
Like flash cards. That's what I was waiting to make Growth Spiral good.
It looks like, and I'm sure you'll agree with me on this. It looks like seeing all this Simic. Just nothing but wins for Simic. Simic is just, wouldn't you agree?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, Simic is incredible. Great cards, great power, great guild mechanic, all of that stuff. Just fantastic.
Why are you doing this? So for the record, for people at home, I made 2 videos where I badmouthed the Simic mechanic, and it sounds like Brian started to watch my channels. There's an upside.
I did start to watch it because everybody was yelling at you because they were saying you can't bash the mechanic when you've only seen 2 cards. I can.
If it's boring design, I can say it's boring design. Okay, the adapt mechanic is dull. The fact that at the time as well we hadn't had a crab warrior elf or a wizard skizzard lizard. Now I'm like, okay, The mechanic is bad, but the creature types are cool. Don't do the flappy hand thing, Brian. This is the first week that we can see each other, guys and girls, so I can see him. But I love crabs as well. I love crabs. Crabs and turtles. I want a turtle man as well at some point in this set. I need a turtle man in my life.
Human turtle would be hilarious. Human turtle would be hilarious.
To try and move back onto just one more card before we move on to our next
give me
subject.
one more, and then I want to talk about reprints we want to see. But give me your last card that's really jumping out at you.
Do you think Absorb is going to warp standard around Teferi?
Wait, it isn't already? It isn't already warped around Teferi? I mean, it's just like, stop, he's already dead. It's all, it's just, Teferi. I'm actually not that, I guess, again, we're getting into the idea of just how effective life gain is. Counter target spell, you gain 3 life. So a Teferi deck that's already making you want to pull your eyes out and just gouge your brain with a needle or something, then gets Absorb. And so is that giving it something it didn't already have? I feel that Teferi is already where it wants to be. Absorb makes it better. But I'm not getting their life. Like, okay, so when I'm losing to these Teferi decks, they slam the brakes, and they're rarely slamming the brakes when I've got them down to 1 or 2 life. And
I've lost 2 games today, Brian.
Really?
2 games on Arena in the best of 1 queues where I've been grinding like Merfolk aggro to just try and get my rank up, where they've stabilized on 1 life.
Oh, okay.
So sometimes all it takes is 1 to 3 life to survive.
So then in those cases, Absorb is going to be a nightmare. You're just going to be like...
Yeah, like mono red and Merfolk aren't going to be happy. Any of the aggro decks... I don't think it's going to warp things. I don't think it's that good. But again, my whole theory about a Flash Bant deck, stick in the not Snake, Mystic Snake, the Absorb, the Growth Spirals, March the Multitude, play everything at instant speed, and then obviously you play some number of Teferi because he's just too good, right?
Well,
but do you know what you're not playing that deck though, Brian?
What?
You're not playing the new they're not Domri, what's his name? Dovin. You're not playing the new Dovin because he's just not good enough.
Well, if there's one thing that White Blue needed, it's more powerful tempo counter to add to it, just so that way maybe we could have multiple tempo counter slow decks. That way we could have Bant and Teferi both just ruining standard. No, I'm not too scared of Absorb, but I just feel a little like I've been beaten to death with this white blue tempo already. So I feel just kind of numb to it. It's just kind of like I've already had Teferi coming in and messing up my living room so many times that at this point I'm just sitting there going like this as he does it again, and I'm not reacting.
Yeah, this time he's gaining 3 life when he untaps those lands and count as your removal spell for him.
Right.
And you're just like, really, Teferi? Really? But yeah, I think the card's going to be good. I just don't know if it's as good as some people are making it out to be. Some people are acting like it's like...
Yeah, and it's
going to
sold out, like the old copies sold out overnight.
That's because is the old artwork the one with the blue sort of oozing smoke out there?
No, it's a cool old artwork, but I was shocked to see that it all sold out overnight. Like it's not going to be like that.
It happens every time, though. Like when Shock got reprinted, people were like buying up Shock. Opt's a famous one.
Opt was
when
one,
Opt
but
got revealed,
really
everyone was buying up the old art. Yeah, people love to buy old arts. So, Absorbs had like 3 printings total, I think. So no wonder it's going to sell out because there just wasn't many of them knocking about. But
yes,
no, it's a cool card. It's a cool throwback. I like it when they print old cards back into new sets. So it's kind of is a nice little segue, isn't it, into our next topic.
Well, the next card that's been previewed that I'd want to
sorry, I've gone straight ahead. Sorry, okay. It's your show, Brian.
No, I was just going to say it's our show. It's our show.
Sorry.
Get that right or you're fired. No. Mortify has been previewed as a reprint.
Oh, of course.
Black, white, one of any color, destroy target creature enchantment. It's got awesome, beautiful artwork. Orzhov
it feels like the
text.
last preview. It's been so long since a long 2 weeks, shall I say, since Mortify was revealed, that it feels like that was last set, but it wasn't, obviously, because we didn't have the Orzhov.
It's got
constant,
awesome
perpetual,
artwork.
ongoing spoiler season.
So I want to use that to segue into what are some reprints. We usually don't get much in the way of effective reprints in a main set like this, but we do get a couple. I mean, we had in even the core set, we had Scape Shift and Crucible. I mean, so we are getting some cool reprints, a couple of them. What are the couple cool but realistic reprints that you're hoping to see, and why? What do you think's coming? What do you think's coming?
You wanted realistic ones. I've only prepared unrealistic ones.
Oh, okay. So like, Mox Sapphire.
No. So the first one that I wanted, which is kind of going back to dissolve things. I really want to see No, Sphinx's Revelation. I want to see another Sphinx's Revelation.
No.
It's just so much fun.
No. Listen, I've been praising play design lately, and if they reprinted Sphinx's Revelation, I would be down there with a pitchfork.
Look, they made a mistake, right? Amonkhet was the only other place where Flavor Flip made sense, right? We've got Sphinx Revelations here because the Sphinxes run the Azorius
Not anymore,
judges,
they don't.
Forums. Not anymore, they don't. Whatever.
They all got arrested for drug abuse. They were caught.
Sure, but they could do a cool art where they're like having the revelation and it's Nicol Bolas's like face in the portal or whatever. But they should have printed in Amonkhet. They should have done Amonkhet. Should have had Sphinx's Revelation. I was so sure of it. It didn't come, and I was so upset. So yeah, I played Sphinx's Rev.
I lived through. I
played it all through standard.
Through it.
So did I. I reaped the benefits.
Through Sphinx's Revelation.
I won many an F&M off the back of Sphinx's Rev. I won a game day thanks to Sphinx's Rev. It was just so good.
Hate that card.
Failing that, Supreme Verdict will be fine as well. I'll be okay with that.
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Teferi is ruining everything. If Teferi didn't exist, these cards would be fine. But because Teferi exists, and Nexus of Fate as well, that card can die in the fire.
We've got Teferi, Nexus of Fate, Absorb, and you're just like, you know what we need? Sphinx's Rev.
Exactly. Ban Nexus, ban Nexus, even ban Teferi, and just give me Sphinx's Rev. So that was my first one. Not too realistic. I think it's necessarily a good idea.
I think we need Thoughtseize and Pack Rat. I'm thinking Thoughtseize, Pack Rat. We should definitely reprint those two. Nothing could possibly go wrong.
At the same time as Rev. That isn't a nostalgia trip for me. I'm into it.
That's actually a joke. I do not think. Do you have a realistic reprint request?
So a really obvious and dull one is Bioshift, because Adapt as a mechanic is so dull and so boring that we need Bioshift to move the counters around and do something good with it. That's my boring and dull one.
That would be a waste of a reprint. What does Bioshift run, like 20 cents,
Yeah, it wouldn't be worth anything, but it'll make the limited environment good. Don't forget, Brian, sometimes people crack packs to play limited. I don't know if you're aware of this.
Limited? I've never heard of this format. What's a card from Modern or Legacy or something like that isn't on the reserve list that could be feasibly reprinted here, that could be feasibly reprinted in Ravnica Allegiance?
So it's thrown back to my original Wasteland.
You think would Wasteland really be okay?
Not with Crucible in standard, no.
No.
So they'd have to.
That'd be
they
fun.
Shouldn't have reprint. Yeah. No, I would love it. I would absolutely love it. But then once Crucible is gone, I think it's safe. They can't have it in the same format as that. I think because imagine a Wasteland where the art is like a Grawl warrior stood on like a door.
It would work, yeah.
And
Wasteland,
the building is collapsed.
Well, maybe in the third set, maybe in the next set, because then Crucible will only be legal for a few more months after the third Ravnica set.
Oh god, that would be so good.
So you just get like a couple months.
I think Modern needs one of these three. It needs Force, Days, or Wasteland.
Yeah.
And they have to put it through, unless you're fictional, or not fictional, so your rumoured extra Modern boosters happen, they need to put it through standard. So I think put it into standard set, but don't put all of them in. If Control got like Force and Days, that'd probably be a bad thing. But like one of those cards. And Wasteland seems fine, right? Like, is it really that bad? Just play basics. So what about you? If my suggestions are either really, really boring or completely unreasonable, what are your suggestions, Brian?
Dark Confidant. Let's do it. Dark Confidant was from original Ravnica. It works. This is a card that did not get reprinted in Ultimate Masters. It's crawling up there in price. We've said we're discontinuing Master sets. So let's make this set sell. Dark Confidant at rare. Put it in there. It doesn't violate any of the mechanical requirements.
Oh, the flavour of it as well. You could have him like with Nicol Bolas motifs on his uniform and he's whispering into the ears of other people in Ravnica. Like he's sowing the seeds of discontent. Oh, I like it.
I would like to. I would like to see that. That's my borderline unrealistic because it's just so expensive that they never do that. That they're never going to print. Was he up to $55 or something?
Well, I mean, I think another printing of him, especially at rare, would absolutely kill his price because at the moment things like Goyf and Bob are
right, which is why I want them to
low.
do it. Yeah, I want them to do it to kill his price because then we can get him and play really fun decks and fair decks in Modern. So that's why he's my
Which is your favourite of the old Bob arts? Do you like the original art, or do you, Bob Mayer art, or do you like the Skrillex art?
Skrillex. I think that usually I always favor for the cards that were created by a Magic player that I like to keep the player in it. But I gotta admit that new Dark Confidant art is so cool. It's one of the rare instances where, with apologies to Bob Mayer, I really like the new art, and I kind of prefer it. I think it's really cool, dangling the crown on the.
Yeah, no, it's cool.
It's neat. I like the big chair. You know me. Look at me. I like these big, comfy throne chairs.
I know people who refer to the new Bob as Sexy Bob. Well, I refer to the Bob Mayer Bob as Sexy Bob.
Yeah,
that's
a
whole different discussion, I guess.
Good guy, yes, that's the different thing. But so if we're going into then reprints from Ravnica's previous Ravnica sets that I think would be more realistic, this isn't a big money card. This is me asking for a reprint that I think is just good to have in standard. Pithing Needle. Pithing Needle was reprinted last in Return to Ravnica. I think Pithing Needle is actually a card that they should just print in core sets all the time.
Yes. That's what I'm about to say. The reason not to print it here would be put into a core set. I think they should alternate between Pithing Needle and Sorcerer's Spyglass. I think that one of those two cards should be in standard at any one time.
Yeah.
Because it just allows you to, for example, print Wasteland and have an answer to it if it's really that much of a problem.
Sure.
It allows you to also have cards like Teferi and not have them be much of a problem.
I would love, but especially with Teferi right now running rampant, I would really love them to reprint Pithing Needle so that you could kind of get it under control, delay them a step. Sure, there's removal for it, but I really think that Pithing Needle should just always be in standard, or almost always. And since it was in the last Ravnica block, that really has a nice, connection and parallel. Bring it back, same artwork, and then we've got it in standard, and that's a really nice choice of a reprint. And so that's definitely one that I'd like to see.
How about, here's a weird one off the top of my head, what if they just reprinted Deathrite Shaman into standard? I mean, he's not that good. He doesn't do anything. He's bad, but he's standard before.
Hilarious.
I think it'd be really funny, but it's too late.
Skullgari.
Oh no! Next set.
Deathrite Shaman.
Next set they
don't do that
each
because
guild.
It gets everybody angry. They should reprint. They should reprint like 5 banned cards that they should reprint Treasure Cruise, Deathrite Shaman, go through it and just reprint each banned card in standard, just to play with in standard, but it's banned in Modern, banned in Legacy.
Is the next set going to be all 10 guilds?
Probably.
Are we aware?
Yeah.
Because if it is, I would like them to see.
We're not aware.
A cycle.
It's going to be
like one per guild, a cycle of famous hallmark guild cards. Like Bob could probably fit in under the Orzhov, I guess, and they just reprint a load of big name ones, whether that be Life from the Loam, Golgari Grave. I guess they can't though, can they? They can't put Dredge cards in without putting Dredge in. So Life from the Loam or Golgari Grave Troll could never appear in standard again.
Right.
I just think that'd be cool. More throwbacks, kind of like Bob and kind of like Death Shaman and things.
I wouldn't mind seeing Infernal Tutor reprinted if we're talking about.
What's the price on that these days? Is that like $40?
Yeah, but that's only. So this is the case of a card that's only like $40-$50 because of Commander. If it got reprinted just once.
No. It's that card sees heavy play in a Legacy. It's the go-to tutor in the Storm deck. You crack your Lion's Eye Diamond.
Right, huh? Okay, so then in all honesty, all the more reason to reprint it, because then this is Legacy messing up Commander players because they would like it as well.
Again, though, it's got Hellbent written on it, hasn't it? So
it does.
But you know what?
I don't mind.
This is. Yeah. Exactly. This is going to sound like a really... Okay, so I'm all talking about how I like complex formats like Legacy and Modern. The next set, they say, look, we're not bringing back these mechanics, but there's going to be one card for each of the sets with an old mechanic on it, and it might be a bit... almost like a masterpiece, like homage back to stuff.
I like that.
Or do
I
do
just don't
masterpieces of it.
I don't see the problem with just in one set, like that you just like why we couldn't just have had, let's say in Shadows over Innistrad, just had Brimstone Volley and it's got Morbid on it, but who cares? Like is anybody going to be hurt by that? Is anyone going to be upset by that? Is anybody going to
supposedly
cry?
New players? That's the logic, isn't it? The logic is not
because
to make
they
things too
can't. The
complicated.
dum-dums can't handle it. See, this is what I mean. It's like
I mean,
can
Arena
handle
helps them. Arena literally, you right click on it, it tells you what the mechanic does and does it for you. So it's not like, surely Arena should be lowering that barrier so we can have the occasional complex thing like Morbid or Hellbent or similar. You know? We don't want Hellbent to come back because the mechanic was awful, but we need Infernal Tutor reprints, right? So
I think there's nothing wrong with just randomly having a Hellbent card in the next set just to have, and it's just what it is. It's just, that's weird. You know, and there you go. That's
the thing. So that's my other logic. So either there is a cycle which they can almost frame them and use the art to say these are old parts of old Ravnica that they're homaging. Not just like from our perspective, but like these are secrets that people don't talk about in Ravnica anymore, such as the Infernal Tutorage and stuff like that. Or they can, and this is a bit bad for reprints, but I believe they can put complicated mechanics and one-off mechanics on mythics. Or maybe rares, because that's where the complexity should be high.
So why can't
one single mythic in Rakdos have Hellbent? Now, it won't help with the reprint cost thing, but I just don't think it damages complexity, and I think it'd make for an interesting homage back to old school Ravnica. But maybe I'm an idealist, Brian. Maybe I'm an idealist. Who knows?
Well, you want Sphinx's revelation and back.
Just the two words combined, Brian, gets me like excited. I need to play more of it in other formats, but apparently it's unplayable in Modern and Legacy. So
no. Sphinx's Rev sees some modern play.
It used to, not anymore.
Really?
Like, I used to play it in Blue-White Control and stuff.
Yeah, no, I told you, dude. Blue-White Control. It's not there yet, but it's crawling.
The format's too fast. That's the problem. The format's too fast.
Blue-white control is slowing it down.
When you die with a rev in your hand, you're like, I can rev for 1, but I'm dying by what, 7?
Yeah.
Because there's 5 hollow ones in play because you phantasmal imaged one of them.
Don't badmouth hollow one. Hollow one's a great deck. That's a great deck. Great deck. Love it. What do you think of anything that's going on in terms of the storyline in Guilds of Ravnica? Do you follow that at all? Are you interested in
I do a little bit.
taking over the guilds? Are we going to... This is my question. I want to end on this. This is my question, though. We are either going to end with Ravnica restored to the proper 10 guilds in power and balance, and it's Ravnica like we know and love it, or we're going to end with Bolas winning. And I don't think either is a very satisfying conclusion, because we already have seen Bolas win, and we've already seen planes like Innistrad and Zendikar destroyed or made unrecognizable. And Ravnica is so loved, so beloved, that for them to end with like the collapse of the guilds would just be, people would be so pissed off, and I would be pissed off. But then what's the answer? We defeat Bolas and the status quo is returned. Yeah. So then how is that a good narrative? It's like, so what happened at the end of the story? Oh, everything was fine. You know, it's like the end of an episodic, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Where are we going with this? You know?
Part of me always wanted to see the guilds come together, unify as one army, and then in some sort of interplanar battle, fight the Phyrexians or fight the Eldrazi. Some big sort of like unifying thing.
Sure.
So that's one thing that could come of the restoration of Ravnica, I guess.
Yeah.
But if there was a fall of Ravnica, I would like them from a story perspective to use that as a catalyst to make the Gatewatch do things that they probably shouldn't do. Moral grey areas. Like Jace goes off and he's like, maybe I'll get the Phyrexians involved because they're the only ones who can beat Bolas. And they make stupid decisions or decisions that are morally grey, you know? Mm-hmm. That's the way I'd like them to take it. I guess time will tell. I think the whole Bolas winning on Amonkhet was quite exciting. I mean, it was nice to see the Gatewatch go after they'd easily dispatched the Titans.
Sure.
That was embarrassing.
I was definitely happy to see the Gatewatch get, punched in the face a few times. I think someone should have drowned, a certain someone should have. That would have been a really nice arc for Gideon, for him to actually have died in the final fight. And that, because he had his whole spiritual journey and realizing that, these gods were not what he thought they were, and this and that and the other. And I think that there was no real stakes. It's like we lost to Bolas, but we didn't lose anyone to Bolas that had a name.
Just lost this character that Amonkhet, this character we just met, just died. That doesn't count.
A bunch of faceless, nameless people. But I think that for Ravnica, we've lost a lot of
So
guild
is
leaders.
that the stakes? Is that the stakes that you're wanting? Perhaps losing the guilds in Ravnica is the high stakes that you want from the story.
But I don't want to lose Ravnica. I don't want these stories.
That's the how stakes work, Brian.
Yeah, but I don't understand why
stakes,
every plane we go to, it has to be the battle for the plane's survival. Why is it always?
I agree. 100%.
It's like Innistrad will never be the same again. Zendikar will never be the same again. I want Ravnica to be the same again. I want Innistrad to be the same again.
Full-on warfare is also tiring. Well, I know we've joked about spoilers in some ways. We are in perpetual full-on battle.
Right.
And I would like a plane where we are talking a bit about political subterfuge.
Sure.
Or about the attempts to overthrow a mad tyrant like in Shadowmoor or Lorwyn. Just more differing modes of storytelling other than big side X versus side Y, which we've seen over and over since sort of Scars block and prior to that.
It would be interesting to see. So here's what I'm going to offer, and I know they're not going to do it because it's too subtle, but what I'd like to see is we're going to defeat Bolas, but as a result of defeating Bolas, look at some of the guilds that Bolas corrupted. Bolas corrupted the Azurius. Bolas corrupted the Orzhov. Bolas corrupted who else has he got?
The Izzet?
The Izzet. And these were kind of the respectable, educated, this was the banks and the electricians and the lawmakers. And I really loved the Dimir as heroes, that the Dimir not only saw that something was going on, that somebody was corrupting and polluting the natural order of Ravnica, but the Dimir saw themselves as, we keep the balance. We screw with information and manipulate to maintain the balance of the 10 guilds. And I would love to see, and you know what? Rakdos is still in charge of Rakdos, so Rakdos is, I guess, on the good guy side this time, because he's not corrupted to Bolas. And so what I'd love to see is if maybe at the end of this, if it was people like the Dimir and the Rakdos and the Simic that saved the day, that maybe the power of Ravnica shifts, and actually I guess like the linchpin is going to be Jace is going to give Vraska her memories back, and then Vraska's in charge of the Golgari, and the Golgari are going to be on the good side, and that'll tip the scales and stuff. Maybe Teysa takes control of the Orzhov and stuff.
So the next set, you want to see little Golgari rot creatures shambling around in suits going to the banks to do business and things. You want to see
the managers
the shifting
of
of roles
almost. The banks were
exactly. That's what I mean.
They've got all the money. They've got all the money now. The Golgari and the
like
Orzhov
camera
have
pans
to
to insectoid creature behind desk, like filing paperwork.
Right. No, but I'd love to imagine saying that. Like, imagine if we leave Ravnica and it turns out that now the Azurius, for all their law magic, they don't have a lot of power. It's been stripped from them because they were so easily corrupted, and the Dimir are actually who the Dimir have to approve laws before it actually goes through the Azurius Senate, and it's not even known. It's just like this. It's just like, listen, the Dimir are safekeepers and stuff, and the Rakdos are keeping an eye, and this sort of thing where it's like the Golgari are no longer the second-class citizens. That actually, if you were in the Orzhov, now you're kind of shunned a little bit because of what happened, and the Orzhov have to work their way back up socially. They're not the highest in the social order of prestige.
I think that's
gleaming gold. They're actually kind of embarrassed, and
I think all of that sounds
stuff.
really cool and really interesting, and could make for some very interesting storytelling. But I don't know if a card. I don't know if a card game is the place where you can get the nuance that the nuance that deserves, I guess. Obviously, the storylines that they put on the mothership and the coming novels and stuff helps with that. And B, I just don't think they'll do that.
Yeah.
They're going to either do Bolas succeeds or Bolas fails.
Right.
Like, good guys win, bad guys win. Right? Like.
All right, one last. I'm going to end on an M. Night Shyamalan twist. Okay, Shyamalan twist. This is my M. Night twist. Bolas wins. He takes
He's
over.
He's allergic to water.
Bolas wins. He takes over all 10 guilds. The Gatewatch has been defeated. They stand there. Jace looks up at Bolas and he goes, "We lost," Jace says. "Ravnica is completely under his control. All 10 guilds. They're marching towards us now. We have no hope of defeating him." "Exactly, Jace," said Bolas. "You had no hope ever of defeating me, and now I have just what I need to save the multiverse." "What?" said Jace. "You heard me. I need to save the multiverse from the Phyrexians. I was moving all these chess pieces into place because there is a threat to the multiverse known as New Phyrexia, and only I, Nicol Bolas, can stop them. And I needed Ravnica to be under my control for this. And if you join me, we will stop Phyrexia." And he extends the claw, you know?
Do you want me to be honest?
That's bullshit.
Do you want me to be honest? What I don't like about it is that it would be convoluted. Isn't why didn't he extend that claw like, I don't know, 4 planes ago when they were first started fighting over?
Jace is an idiot. Ugin told Jace, "Don't kill the Eldrazi. There could be bad consequences." And 5 minutes later, Jace killed the Eldrazi. Would you trust Jace? Would you trust Jace?
Yeah, sure, but I don't think Bolas would extend a full-on fight for like several planes against creatures that might. Okay, he's a bit arrogant of his own abilities, but why would he not use them?
Why would he not kill the Gatewatch? He defeated them. Why would he not kill any of them? Why did he just slap Jace over to Ixalan instead of snap his neck? You know, like why?
I didn't know that was that a conscious choice of Bolas? I'm not aware of this. Was that a conscious choice of his?
He could kill them. Why didn't he kill them? He could have killed them. Not one of them died. Come on.
Oh, maybe you're right then. I mean, I wouldn't like it because it seems too many things have fell into place to set up a switch up, I guess. Surely this conversation would have happened several planes ago. At some point during the fight, he's like, "Hang on, Jace. The actual reason I'm doing this is for all great reasons and good things." And what? It turns out that Ugin was a Phyrexian all along? Is that what you want?
No, it just turned out Ugin was a
sleeper agent?
It's just going to turn out Ugin was a jerk. He just was a self-serving jerk, and Bolas is self-serving, but if you're self-serving, you don't want the multiverse destroyed. It's like, I must save the multiverse so that I might rule it. You know? I mean, he doesn't want the multiverse being ruled by someone else. He doesn't wouldn't you rather rule over the multiverse as it is now, and its infinite bounty and diversity, then it's all Phyrexian, and it's like, well, damn, I don't want to rule that. That's boring. I need some different worlds.
Would you support a Bolas winning on Ravnica? The Gatewatch destroyed, half dead, scattered,
you
go
had
missing,
me at
whatever.
Gatewatch dead. Stop. You had me at Gatewatch dead.
And then we see for the next few sets, we see a war between Phyrexia and Nicol Bolas, where we've just got two villains fighting it out.
I guess it's kind of boring. Kind of boring.
You think that's boring?
I think. You know what's not boring? Lorwyn. We see fairies and kithkin sleeping by a pool of water with merfolk splashing playfully. Suddenly, a portal opens. It's green and mechanical and has eerie otherworldly sounds. The sunlight-dabbled fairies look up at it with fear, and then robotic horrors step out onto Lorwyn. Phyrexia has created an interplanar portal. They come forward, they come forth, when suddenly Shadowmoor hits, and those little sun-speckled fairies suddenly grow claws and go and they fly and descend like a swarm of pests onto the robotic Phyrexians, and they completely defeat Phyrexia, because if there's one thing that will destroy the most horrific new Phyrexian, it's a Shadowmoor fairy. That's what
I'm game. I want to see more Phyrexia divisions of the planes. Yep. I'm game for that.
Yep. All right.
I'm game for that.
If people want to find you, Vince, where can they find you? I'm going to link another YouTube video of yours in the description, and this time I'll link the correct video.
Yes, last week Brian did not link to the right video. I am available on YouTube as Pleasant Kenobi and on Twitch as Pleasant Kenobi. If you want to see some of these cards being played with in Standard and in Limited, I will be streaming on hold, the 16th of January.
I'm not pausing that at this point in the editing.
I know you're not going to pause that. I don't care. It was more of a joke that you might pause it, but thanks for telling me you wouldn't, Brian. Thanks for the help, buddy.
Lazy.
8 a.m. Pacific time onwards on the 16th of January, which is the evening for my time. I will be playing in the Ravnica Allegiance's pre-stream event. I'll be playing on Arena for several hours, so come hang out and watch us play with some of the new cards.
Fantastic. And so, until we see you next time, let's hope that these Ravnica Allegiance previews coming next week, especially Monday morning from a certain community college, keep entertaining you as much as we have.